I'm sitting in my inbox and I have a number of emails that have attachments. I'm looking at this email, for example, and it has an attachment and it's been sent to a number of people. I noticed since then that the next time they send the attachment, they put all those people not in the to, but in the BCC. So this is undisclosed recipients, which tells me that I'm one of many people who received this email, and all of them were put in the BCC, which is very professional. Now when I open up this email and I look at the attachments, if I click it once, I can actually preview the attachment without actually having to double click in to open it. And then if I want to go back to the message, I just hit the back to message button at the very top here. So you can easily preview. But if I do want to open it, I'll double click the attachment and then I have the option to save it somewhere. So I can go into File and I can go to Save As and I can choose exactly where I want to save it to. If I want to remove an attachment, let me close and close, it's simply a matter of right-clicking or even hitting the drop-down here. When you hit the drop-down to the right of the attachment, you have the option to open it, which is the same as double-clicking. You have the option to preview it, which is clicking once. You also have the option to quickly print it, so one copy straight to the printer. I can save it as a particular location, and if it's one of, say, many attachments, I can save all the attachments in one hit without having to open them into a particular location. And if you have a OneDrive or a cloud, you have the ability to also save it to OneDrive. And lastly, you can actually copy the attachment, and lastly, you can remove the attachment. So if the attachment's rather large, you might want to save it somewhere safe where it's going to get backed up, and then remove the attachment from the email simply by hitting that option there. When I see this warning here, it will be removed, so I can remove the attachments simply by clicking this button here, which I'll cancel. Now you can also not only save attachments outside of Outlook, but you can also save the email messages themselves. If I go to File, Save As, I have the option to save this email as an Msg file, being short for message. And so I'll simply choose the location and then I'll simply hit Save. If I then go and look for that file, I'll be able to open it. I simply double click the file, MSG, and the file comes up. So if it's an important email, you may save not only the actual attachment somewhere safe, but you may save the message as well somewhere safe so that you can easily open it up. As far as checking for new emails, most systems do this automatically, especially if you're in an organization which has a network. But if you're a home user or you're on a device, you may actually have to check for mail. And so that's why we have this button to the far right of the Home tab called Send, Receive All Folders. And when I do that, it will basically check everything for emails, and it will send all my emails as well. If you want to, you can actually go to Folder and you can actually ask it also, under Send Receive, you can ask it also to send all messages rather than Send Receive, which is very useful as well. The shortcut key for Send Receive is also the function key F9. But a lot of people have their Outlook set up to automatically send and receive at a certain minute interval, and this is under File and Options. Under File and Options in Advanced, you can typically tell it when you would like it to automatically send and receive, and that's in the Send and Receive section here. So mine is set up to automatically send and receive whenever I'm connected, and if I go into this button here, then you can actually schedule it to do an automatic send receive every 30 minutes. And if you're offline, you can control that also. But you might want to configure that for your home machine or a device other than when you're actually within a corporate environment.